All right, Shalom. This is the brothers from GMS Louisiana Saints with another lesson. But before we get started, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled and teach well. And peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. And we're just going to get into some end times prophecies with this lesson, mainly dealing with the famines, because you're hearing a lot of news come out now of food shortages and food insecurity, and people talking about how it's looking like it may be pretty bare over the next couple of months, this winter, next year, etc., etc. And it says that there will be famines in the scriptures, and they're going to be very detrimental famines. Many people are going to die from starvation, and people are going to fight each other due to these coming food shortages. And we'll be reading from an article on ZeroHedge.com.
Okay, this article is named "Food Shortages Hit China. There is not enough fresh food to go around."
Hey, and it's not just China, it's the United States of America as well, and other countries all across the planet. If you remember, last year in 2019, and even during parts of 2020, there were historic floods and storms and snowstorms that ravaged U.S. farmers' farmlands, and they weren't allowed to plant as many crops as they wanted to, and now the effects are starting to be felt.
Correct. It says, authored by Robert Wheeler via the Organic Pepper blog. It says, over the past few weeks, I have been writing articles regarding a coming food shortage. I've been pointing out that the food shortage is going to hit the United States hard, but that it is also going to hit the rest of the world. A worldwide fit of hysteria over COVID, resulting in the shutdown of the world's economy, interruptions of the supply chain, and the destruction of food products, as well as international trade wars and national disasters, are going to collide with one another and make this winter one of the toughest on record.
Hey, point blank, period. And hey, just like a lot of other things it's being used for, COVID is one of the excuses they're gonna say is leading to a food shortage because they can't get the products to the stores because drivers, they don't want them to catch COVID or anything like that. They're saying they have to shut down processing plants because their workers are getting COVID, et cetera, et cetera. But it's been happening. But things have been happening behind the scenes that the powers that be have known for a while would lead to a food shortage. There's something that's been going on called a grand solar minimum, which means that the sun's heat has been decreasing, and they have something called GDD, or growing day degrees, how much heat growers can get in a day pretty much, and that's been decreasing. And in places like Canada, Northern Europe, Chile, Siberia, et cetera, the climates have been getting cooler, and the grounds have been getting wetter, so the crops that they do plant aren't able to bring forth the yield that they wanted to yield. It's also happening in the U.S., so that's contributing to these famines that are going to come, as well as these storms and floods that have been happening all throughout 2019 and 2020. And then on top of that, you've got the elites using these weather weapons of theirs to further exacerbate things, to get these people desperate, because the elites want to organize they want to add on to the famines that are already coming, release even more diseases out here to kill people off, build up racial tensions and civil war tensions, because they want to get the people scared and herd them into this new world order they want to accomplish. Sure. And eventually get everybody microchip implanted. That's where everything's leading.
It says China is publicly acknowledging a coming food shortage. But while many have dismissed my claims, I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that China is now publicly acknowledging a coming food shortage. It says, and as noted in this article, when they admit there's a problem, it's a big problem. In fact, China even has an anti-food wasting campaign going on across the country right this minute, encouraging people to eat half portions or at least make sure to finish their plates.
And did you hear that there's a government program over in China right now that's very heavily restricting and monitoring people's food consumption, either making them eat half portions or if they do eat something to clean their plate. And you've got Chinese political figures doing it, Chinese celebrities, etc., showing how dire things are over there. And best believe it's going to come to the U.S. as well. And don't be surprised if you see these celebrities wearing a mask saying, hey, don't make sure to clear your plate, make sure not to leave anything waste. We're all in this together.
Mm-hmm. It says in October 5th, an article for the New York Times entitled China's Mealtime Appeal Amid Food Supply Worries. Don't take more than you can eat, Ava Du writes. On the surface, China campaigns to encourage mealtime. Thrice has been a cheerful affair with soldiers, factory workers, and school children shown polishing their plates clean of food. But behind the drive is a harsh reality. China does not have enough fresh food to go around.
Hey, and over in China, just like there have been storms and floods over in the U.S., there have been typhoons and mass floodings over there that's been destroying a lot of their crops. Mm-hmm. So everybody's starting to feel the pinch. And back with that grand solar minimum, it's happened in the past, and some of the main things it led to was millions of deaths as well as wars fought over food. So on top of World War III coming in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, there are going to be these famines that are going to contribute to wars as well. People being desperate and going and attacking other countries and taking their resources.
That's right. It says, and neither does much of the world. The pandemic and extreme weathers have disrupted agricultural supply chains, leaving food prices sharply higher in countries as diverse as Yemen, Sudan, Mexico, and South Korea. The United Nations warned in June that the world is on the brink of its worst food crisis in 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary and it's overwhelming. What is this person's name?
Arif Hussein,
chief economist of the United Nations World Food Program, said in an interview, I don't think we have seen anything like this ever. Those are strong words to say the least. Right now.
Oh, that's it. Oh. Hey, we're going to get into these precepts because, hey, we knew famines were going to come for the longest time because Yahushua said that in these last days, famines among other calamities would come.
Right.
So, hey, we're not concerned with these famines and these other things that are coming because as it says in Isaiah, hey, my servant shall eat in that day. But the only way you'll be able to be a servant that'll eat in that day is to be constantly enduring in this word, pushing it as hard as you can, and following these laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your abilities, so you can hope to have that protective hedge of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai over you. But as for you people that don't have that, you 2/3 and you heathen nations, you're gonna have to get it how you live in that day.
You mind if I get that, Isaiah?
Oh, Khan. And hey, as it says in I believe Lamentations, better is it to perish by the sword than by hunger.
Mm-hmm. This is Isaiah 65, and I'm going to start at 12. It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer, and when I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not.
Hey, and we especially saw that during this first coronavirus lockdown. Hey, Jake got a little shook up for a little bit. A lot of brothers said that they had people coming out of the woodworks, asked them what's going on. But when the foot got taken off the gas pedal a little bit, so to speak, Jake waxed worse. Jake got worse and became more degenerate.
Absolutely. No. It says, therefore, thus said the Lord, God, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry, man.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of my favorite precepts right here, because this shows a clear distinction between the men of the Lord and people that ain't doing what they supposed to do, man. And it's obvious that the Heavenly Father got a plan for us, and you people are going to be out here just wandering around, hungry, thirsty. looking for some type of salvation, man. You know, like when this stuff start to happen, it's not gonna just be words, man. You're gonna really see this come into effect. Like the article that the brother was going into, man. Them people say they ain't never seen nothing like this before in their lives, man.
Hey, which that come to mind? Hey, the days that are coming are going to be even worse than the days of Noah.
That's right.
And the days of Noah you don't even need to explain how bad they were. Only Noah, his sons, and their wives made it. The Most High wiped out the entire planet.
That's right. And you people so impulsive, man. Y'all gonna turn into cannibals like that.
Hey, we're going to get into it a little later because cannibalism's coming back in big fashion during these last seconds of these last days.
That's right. It says, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. My servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed.
Hey, and like we just said, we're not worried about these famines or these pestilences or martial law or anything like that. We're rejoicing at it. We actually think it's not coming fast enough.
Right.
We've been wanting it to happen since yesterday, since last year, since we came into the truth. Because we know what comes next after all these tribulations. The kingdom of heaven, where it's going to be smooth sailing for eternity.
This is Luke. I'm going to Luke.
Oh, con.
This is Luke 21:7.
Hey, and this is Yahushua speaking. Like I said a little bit earlier, Yahushua said that these things would come.
Luke 21:7. It says, and they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be, and what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And he said, take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotion.
Hey, Syrian civil war, war in Iraq, rumors of a war going to war against Iran, rumors of wars with China, with Russia, that war going on between Azerbaijan and Armenia, etc., etc. The list goes on and on.
It says, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by.
And that end's not going to truly come until that mandatory implementation of the Mark of the Beast microchip implant, which all these different little calamities, well, not little, big calamities, are eventually working their way towards.
That's right. Keep reading.
Con.
It said, then said unto them, nation shall rise against nation.
These race wars, and hey, those are going to be exacerbated by these famines. Because one thing that happens when people get hungry is they become tribal again.
Yes, indeed.
Tribal very quickly. It's about me and my own. And you people that like to hold hands in America or in all these other countries around the world, hey, it's not going to play out like that. Your neighbor down the street, your so-called best friend, is going to be the very same person that's going to be kicking in your door, snatching your food, snatching your clothing and other amenities, and even snatching your loved ones.
Absolutely. It says, kingdom versus kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines.
Hey, and famines.
And pestilence.
Hey, your coronavirus,
Yeah.
the African swine flu,
Yeah.
which has actually led to about 200 million pigs over in China die. And pork is a big staple of the Chinese diet, so that's exacerbating their famines over there.
Okay, if I can go ahead and add, what about the locusts that
Oh, you can't forget about the locusts. The locusts in Africa, Saudi Arabia, Australia, India, Pakistan, etc., etc. They've been annihilating croplands. And hey, there's actually been locusts showing up in South America now, annihilating farmers' croplands.
so they on the move. Shoot, next thing you know, it's gonna be swarms of locusts out here, man. Lord willing that to happen.
Con.
It says, and fearful sights and great signs shall be from heaven.
Hey, these lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, blood moons, blue moons, wolf moons, etc., etc. Hey, on November 29th to the 30th of next month, there's actually going to be, I think it's the last penumbral lunar eclipse of the year.
Okay.
Hey, and what happens at the beginning of the month? The elections.
Mm-hmm.
That's already a whole nother can of worms that's going to exacerbate all the problems in this country.
That's right.
And like I was talking about earlier in the video, there was that grand solar minimum that's taken place where the sun's heat is supposedly decreasing. Hey, and that's a fearful sight from heaven.
Right.
That's letting you people know what time it is.
This is Second Ezra's one.
We're going to read this last little part of this article, and then we'll close it out in that second Esdras.
No problem. This is back in that article. It says this is a global problem. World Food Program economists have already estimated that 270 million people globally are suffering from hunger this year.
To put it more precisely, the World Food Program for the UN said that by the end of 2020, around that 250 or 270 million to 300 million people are going to be on the verge of starvation.
That's right. It says that's more than twice last year's amount. The number does not include China, the United States, and Europe, as they are considering food secure countries.
Hey, but as we just saw in that article, China's in the midst of a food crisis. The U.S. is going to be in the midst of a food crisis, and Europe as well.
That's right. It says, given that everyone can see with their own eyes on American shelves and the recent Clean Plate campaign in China, the term food secure is being used liberally these days. While we may not get lucky and dodge the bullet, we strongly encourage you to prepare while you can. Even if no major shortage occur, you'll be hedging your bet against food prices that will almost certainly increase dramatically over the next few years.
Hey, and you're not gonna get lucky and dodge a bullet. Hey, you're gonna take that bullet of famine. It's gonna go straight to the dome, and you're gonna have to get it how you live in that day. And it's so bad. It's going to be so bad in the United States that are actually different state governments that are buying, like the store shelves are already empty, but these state governments are using state funds to buy up food, and they're storing up warehouses with food in preparation for a coming food shortage in the U.S.
That's right, because they own the truck companies, man. So if they want those trucks to come directly to them, is it that difficult to do?
Not at all.
Shit.
And hey, when you put the pieces together with people losing their jobs, people losing their businesses, people going homeless, and the food shortages on top of all that, you're going to get herded like good little goyim right into the elitist agenda.
That's right.
Into those, if I could say real quick, into those FEMA camps, getting killed during martial law, and ultimately taking that microchip implant. Look, you want food for you and your family?
Right.
Hey, just take that shot.
That's right. Now, just basically going to say what you said. People going to be hog tying and doing whatever they can to eat some food, man. You know, so they're going to be willing to accept anything, take anything, do anything just to satisfy their hunger. You know? Second Esdras 16 and 17. It says, woe is me. Who would deliver me in those days?
And that should just give you an indication of how bad these days are going to be. Esdras knew he was a man of the Lord, but when he saw his visions, he said, woe is me, who's going to save me in those days? That's how bad it's going to be.
It said the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death.
Famine and great death. Hey, again, the UN World Food Program said that by the end of 2020, close to 300 million people are going to be on the verge of starvation.
It says the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in the fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come?
Hey, if you're a sincere brother or sister out there, just keep doing what you're doing right now. Hey, pushing this word as hard as you can. Found these laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability.
Yep.
Praying and fasting, etc., etc. Doing whatever you can to keep that protective hedge of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai over you. Because when the Most High drops that hammer, hey, it's not going to be lifted until Yahushai returns to save the elect.
That's right. It says, behold, famines and plagues, tribulation and anguish are sent to as scourges for amendments.
For amendment, for the wickedness of you people on this planet. We're just being complete degenerates and dirtbags out here. You Edomites, completely doing everything contrary to the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, and turning most of this planet into a trash can, and afflicting the apple of his eye, the children of Israel, who are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and 2/3 of you Israelites who are hard-headed and refuse to return under your power.
That's right.
You want to be everything else under the sun but who you are, the true children of Israel.
That's right. It says, but for all those things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges.
Hey, like we said a little earlier in the video, we really saw that when the Most High turned up the heat a little bit, Jake would pretend to get in order, but when the heat went down, Jake went back to being wicked and actually got worse. How do you think the Most High is going to take that? Not lightly. How I perceive it is that first lockdown was that final judgment for you people out here to see whether you were cold or hot or lukewarm. You were sitting inside all day. You couldn't go out, so you couldn't watch videos and tried to seek salvation from your power, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. There are plenty of you out there that were scared and came out of the woodworks and asked brothers that you knew in the truth what was going on. But again, when things got a little bit easy, you went back to being a degenerate.
Yeah. Jake throwing up false prayers and shit, man. Telling Lord, oh, if you just fix this, I'll never be that way again. And then, like the brother said, everything clear up. Oh, shit, I forgot about what I told the Most High. Oh, now, at one point in time, the Lord was the Lord of Israel, and now he back to Jesus, loving everybody. There was a video that came out with this one nigga. He was in a hotel room talking about, oh, man, the truth, and this and that. And now you don't see the nigga doing nothing no more, man. That's how niggas do it, man. When everything seems to be a problem, an issue, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna run to the Lord. I'm gonna go to the minute of the Lord. But as soon as things clear up, my life is more important. That's why these things are gonna happen to you. It says, behold, victuals shall be good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy?
Hey, that Amos chapter 5, start around verse 18. Hey, even though you escape a lion, you shall run into a bear. If you escape the bear, you'll lay your hand on the doorpost and get bit by a serpent. Hey, if you manage to escape these famines, but Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai is not dealing with you, you're going to fall into another calamity.
Sure.
Get killed off by one of these deadly diseases out here, have a wild animal tear you apart, get caught by these Proud Boys, these racist skinhead neo-Nazis out here that are going to torture you, or end up in a FEMA camp where those foreign troops are going to torture you.
Right.
And ultimately, if you survive all that, the only thing you got to look forward to is seeing those missiles come down and drop directly on your head.
Hey, brothers talking facts, man. It says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung,
Or shit.
and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down.
Hey, the dead shall be cast out as dung. Do you care about that shit you flush down the toilet? You don't give a second thought to it.
Nope.
That's how much death and destruction is going to be in that day. So many dead bodies strewn about from the pestilences, the famines, the race wars, martial law, that you're just going to step over it and not give a second thought to it, like you don't give a second thought to that shit that you take in the toilet.
That's all right.
Con.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just gonna close it out with Isaiah 9.
Sure.
Let's see, Isaiah 9. Let's see.
No, but the brother right, man. And like you said about that comfort, ain't no man gonna be there to comfort you, man. This system that's set up for you people to do what it is that you do on a daily basis, man, this thing gonna collapse, man. And you people are gonna be in pitiful case, man. It's gonna get to the point where You people gonna be damn near eating yourselves out here, man.
Hey,
You
that's
know?
exactly what it's going to go into in Isaiah chapter 9. You can start at verse 18 and read down to 20. Because like we said earlier in the video, cannibalism's about to come back in a big way.
Let me go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
This Isaiah 9 and 18. It said, "For wickedness burneth as the fire. It shall devour the berries and thorns,
The briars and thorns.
the briars and thorns, and shall kindle in the thicket of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting up of smoke through the wrath of the Lord of hosts in the land of dark, in the land
Is the land darkened?
Is the land darkened, Salakia. And the people shall be as the fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother."
Hey, it says in 2nd Esdras chapter 6, read verse 22 to 24, that suddenly shall the full storehouses be found empty. And your Walmarts, your Sam's Clubs, your Walgreens, your grocery stores, etc., are going to be found empty because of the food shortages, and then whatever's left, people ransacking it. Then when you go further down to verse 24, it says, friend shall fight against friend as enemies. These people getting desperate out here and trying to get their hands on whatever they can. Then when you go further into 2nd Esdras 15, it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall break into his house with the force of the sword." A modern-day sword being that gun due to lack of bread and that great tribulation.
And also, you got to think about it, man. These people have been pacified all their lives. They don't know how to catch no food. They don't know how to go and try to figure out how to catch food, what to eat, how to cook it if you caught it.
How to purify water.
They don't know how to do any of these things. All they know how to do is go to McDonald's and order a number 3.
They can't even do that anymore. They got to get Uber Eats because it's so fucking lazy.
That's right, man. That's right. They have a motherfucker come just sit it right at their door, man. You know? So these people are in a certain type of position to where once things start really, once the destruction and disaster start to really unfold on this place, these people ain't ready for it, man. You know?
Hey, the love of many is going to wax cold. Hey, America, in this world in general, under Esau Edom's rulership, is a real dog-eat-dog world, but there's still these little creature comforts and levels of civility left. When the chips are down and all that's taken away, you're going to see what the fruit of Esau Edom's labors have been, turning these people into brute beasts, savage animals out here.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything you've seen in these Mad Max movies, The
Yeah.
Road, etc.,
It says, and he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm.
Hey, not only is cannibalism coming back in a big way, but people, it's going to be so dire out here with the food shortages that people are going to actually be cannibalizing themselves, cutting off pieces to try to survive. And it said in that verse, even that's not going to satisfy them. And I remember about a year ago, the elder brother Yashuwamba had a vision of Jacob's trouble, and said in that vision he saw food shortages out there, people cooking babies and shit like that, and he also saw somebody like biting the flesh and tearing the flesh off of their own body to eat it due to the lack of food.
Crazy, man.
So we're really coming into some dire, critical, and horrific times. These days are going to be worse than any other times in history, even worse than the days of Noah. It's like we always tell you, Sincere Akim, again, just right now, it's critical that you should be doing whatever you can to stay in the good graces of your power, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, because you don't want to get caught up in these calamities when they hit, and they're going to hit hard.
Oh, man. Like a ton of bricks.
Mm-hmm. You had anything
Oh.
you want to make?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So with that, we hope this video was edifying to you, Sincere Akim. And as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you, Sincere Akim, out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Kwam Yasharala,
Kwame Yasharala.
Baba Ball,
Baba Ball.
Shalom.
Shalom, Akim.